We're here to talk about KGF. Actually, I'm not going to be very critical of KGF. I made a review on it before. Um, so, what do I like about KGF? I think the first half is absolutely horrible. I think it does nothing new. I think it's style over substance throughout. I think it is a very typical South Indian movie, which is a lot of dishum dishum, basically everything is in fast and slow motion at the same time. A lot of moments where people who don't deserve to go to the theater go to the theater, and then they make a lot of noise and they cut up the screens with swords. Yeah, I thought the first half was just really terrible. I thought it had nothing going for it. I was like, this is all hype because I didn't watch KGF during the hype train. I watched it much later. And I have not watched chapter 2. Well, I've not watched chapter 2 in its entirety, so I'm not going to be talking about both parts in this review. I'm only talking about KGF chapter 1 to be specific. And I just didn't like it. I thought it was lame. I thought the storyline was going in a very meh direction, and I just didn't like it. And then the second half happened, and I think this is a very rare instance where the first half really turns me off completely, and the second half really captivates me. I think everything from the moment he enters the mines are actually really nice. I really like the production value of this film, first of all, and I would argue that this film is what started the trend which we're seeing for the last almost 10 years. This came out in 2018, and it's been a good 6 7 years of the long beard angry man trend, which I think KGF kind of, because it broke records, and all these other movies which came after it. There's so many examples like Animal and more of those, which I think tried following what KGF did right, which is the angry big look, the big beard look, which I think Yash really set into motion. And I think the second half of the movie, which is set entirely in the Kolar goldfields, is genuinely a good, like, it's investing. I'm invested into the story at that point on. The first half is just whatever. The female characters have little to no significance. It's just very cliche, it's very mediocre. The second half, now I'm not going to say the second half boosts it to an incredible score, but I will say I'm a lot more invested. The action feels a lot more interesting, and it is still, in the end, the same nonsensical action slop which South Indian movies throw in our face. But it works. I think for me, when he finally takes up the hammer and kills one of the guards, spoilers, I think that scene is really good. I was very invested. I wanted that man to die because it's finally time to break out and not keep yourselves hidden. I think the ending is great. The way he jumps out of the water, I think that was incredible as well. Honestly speaking, second half of the movie really carries hard, and the first half is really terrible. It's like the first half is one of the worst things I would have ever seen, and if it continued that way, this would have been a very shit movie. But the second half, which is where he gets into the field, the Kolar Gold Fields, which is what the movie is named after, it delivers. I genuinely think it delivers. I am not a fan of style over substance, but if you're going to do style right, make sure you're doing it good enough that I don't care that there's not enough substance. And I think KGF Chapter 2 kind of does that well. I think the large scale of it all in the second half really makes up for the slop in the first half. But in the end, if I had to give it a review, or give it a score, I'm probably gonna give it like a 3 out of 5. Um, yeah, actually, that's being pretty positive considering how much I hate the first half. But yeah, the second half really gives it those extra 2 stars. I had a great time watching the second half. It's a mediocre film, all in all. Overall, it's a mediocre film. Like, it kind of balances itself out. It's not something to ride home. It's not something I would recommend. But I understand the hype train. When I finished watching it, I was like, I get why it was hype because it is a fun experience to watch the film, which most South Indian movies, especially the big budget South Indian movies, I expect them. I don't necessarily go into them expecting like a good story. Like, I feel like the highest they can reach is a 3. but I go into them expecting style, and I think the second half delivered that in a good way. But yeah, that's all I have to say about KGF Chapter 1. I actually have watched Chapter 2, but I have not watched it in its entirety, and I haven't watched it like a proper viewing. I've not given it a proper viewing to make a video on it, otherwise, I would have clubbed the review of Chapter 2 into this as well. So maybe one day I'll watch Chapter 2 and I'll let you guys know what I thought about it. But anyway, don't forget to leave a like, comment down below what you thought of the film, and I'll see you all later. Bye.